An exclusive poll for the Mirror has suggested Remain would win by 10 points in a second EU referendum. And it shows there is huge support in the country for a rerun of the 2016 vote, even if a majority still say we should get on with Brexit. Of course, it's just one poll. But it's an interesting shift in opinion that is exposed tonight in the wake of comments by Nigel Farage. The former UKIP leader caused a shock this morning by saying, "Just maybe I'm reaching the point of thinking that we should have a second referendum on EU membership." He's since rode back on his comments, saying, "I do not want a second referendum, but I fear one may be forced upon the country by Parliament. That is how deep my distrust is for career politicians." But what do voters think of his idea? Here are the biggest findings from our poll. Comries interviewed 1,049 British adults online for the Mirror today, Thursday 11th of January. If there was a second full EU referendum, our poll claims Remain would win by 10 points. Not counting don't knows, 55% said they would vote Remain and 45% said they would vote Leave. The full result was 51% for Remain, 43% for Leave and 6% for Don't Know. More than 3/4 of Remain voters who took part said they want a second EU referendum. The numbers are small, 540 Remain voters, so treat with some caution, but a whopping 77% of Remain backers said they wanted a second referendum. On the other side, and this probably seems obvious, 95% of our 447 Leave voters said they do not want a second referendum. The question was, if there were a second referendum on Britain's membership of the European Union, how would you vote? The general wisdom is that Britain just wants to get on with it. And the majority of people do, but it's closer than you might think. 43% said there should be another full EU referendum, compared to 51% who said there should not. Compare that to when YouGov asked, 1 week after the Brexit vote, if we wanted another EU referendum. Just 31% of people said yes. Surveytion last month found half of Brits backed a second referendum, but it was on the final deal, not an in-out vote. For our poll, Comries asked specifically about another full referendum on whether we should be EU members. The full question was, do you think there should be a second referendum on whether Britain remains a member of the European Union, or not? Just 6% of people said they were very confident Theresa May can get a good deal on Brexit. Overall only 30% were very or fairly confident, and 2/3, 65%, were not confident. 1/3 of all respondents, 34%, said they were not at all confident. The question was, how confident or not are you that Theresa May can secure a good Brexit deal for the UK? Almost 150 respondents to the poll said they do not know which political party they'd vote for. They were more likely than the others to think Theresa May won't get a good deal. 70% said they were not confident she will get a good Brexit deal, with just 17% saying they were confident. The survey reveals how Brexit has divided the country by age and political party. Among Labour voters 64% are in favour of a second referendum with 31% against. By contrast only 18% of Tory voters want a second poll with 79% against. And if the contest was rerun, 75% of Labour voters would back Remain with only 25% for Leave. Among Conservative voters 30% would vote Remain and 70% Leave. Young voters aged 18-24 are not only in favour of second poll, 54% to 37%, but would vote overwhelmingly to Remain by 77% to 23%. By contrast, among those aged 65 plus 67% would vote to Leave and only 33% Remain. Older voters are most opposed to a second referendum by 68% to 28%.